Hi, I'm Georgie, and welcome back to the Ara Wellness podcast. If your wellness to-do list is never ending and you're overwhelmed by trends and information being thrown your way, then we are here to simplify it. So, if you're ready to own your health, keep listening.
And we are really excited about today's guest, who has an amazing story, which we will let her share. But at 25, Caragh Keane was due to start her dream teaching job when she was diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease which sees the body's immune system attack its own tissue. The disease affects skin, joints, organs, and the circulating bloody cells.
Bloody cells.
Yeah.
We're off to a good start.
Sorry about this. Which left Caragh bedridden with extreme joint pain, alopecia, and painful blisters all over her face and body. Having been told to wear long-sleeve tops, avoid the sun, and possibly having to spend the rest of her life on immunosuppressants and chemotherapy, she took this fear and tackled the issue head-on. Very Arva mentality. She began researching her symptoms and discovered the vital link between diet and gut health, which prompted Caragh to eat an anti-inflammatory and gut-friendly diet, which saw her body begin to heal. This led to the launch of Super Keane, the most inclusive food brand in the UK and the first autoimmune-friendly brands in the UK. In stores very soon.
Oh, I love that intro. Thanks.
I would love to jump in first with, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what is an autoimmune disease, and absolutely. I suppose what is lupus?
Yeah, absolutely. So an autoimmune disease is essentially when your own immune system starts attacking its own tissue. And so it takes shape in many different forms. There's like over 100 types of autoimmune conditions. And yeah, it can also attack your skin, your organs. It can be with lupus, for example, it can start attacking your kidneys, your brain, and your joints. And so, yeah, it's kind of just, it varies quite a lot from different conditions. But 1 in 10 people now suffer from an autoimmune condition.
Is it that high?
Yeah. So, and it's shocking really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that ranges from like Hashimoto's and lupus to like type 1 diabetes. So, yeah, it is very, takes so many different forms, and lupus being one of them. And one of the things that always surprises me with autoimmune conditions as well is that 80% of people diagnosed are women. So it is a crazy statistic. And with lupus, it's like the people that suffer from it, 90% is women. So yeah,
wild.
It is wild.
Why do you think that? Is there a reason why? Is it because our hormones more sensitive?
Yeah. Well, I think it is like a range of things, and something that I'd love to chat to you about, because one of them is definitely, I think, lifestyle.
Definitely,
and like chronic stress and trauma being like one of the areas. But it's something that really interests me, but essentially I think it's also to do with genetics. So women have 2 X chromosomes, and essentially sorry, I don't want to be too nerdy.
No, love nerdy.
So it's like they essentially control a lot of your immune responses. So we have 2 X chromosomes, whereas men have an X and a Y. So essentially that makes us more likely to, show autoimmune conditions in that way. And also estrogen boosts immune response. Yeah. So we've got more estrogen than men.
Yeah.
So I think that comes into play.
We're more sensitive.
Yeah. But also, I'm not sure if you've heard of this amazing doctor called Dr. Gabe Matter. I think it's Gabe Matter.
I was literally just going to mention, I started reading his book called The Myth of Normal.
Oh, no way.
And the first sort of chapter is all stats about, basically it's more specifically about how trauma affects the body.
Oh my God, it's mad.
And it was interesting, the stats of how it affects women, all the diseases it can contribute to. You're just like, oh, my body basically is storing information against me.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is mad.
Did I tell you I went to the off topic, kind of off topic. Went to this TRE workshop with my mum, which is trauma release energy, and they do it with the military now. So they obviously the military go through a lot of trauma. They see a lot of things that they then, and it stores in your body. And I've really taken an interest in the last 3 years on how trauma affects us. But I went to this workshop and it's bizarre. Like I was a cynic, and I'm not usually a cynic. I'm usually telling Jessica about the moon most days and believe in everything. But like I went to this workshop with my mum, and she's like, Georgie, you have to come because you like had a bad year, whatever. And we sat there and we're lying down, and our legs are sort of like up, but kind of in a frog position.
Oh, right.
And their body starts uncontrollably shaking. And she's like, this is the trauma coming out of you.
From your hips.
I was like, this is wild. I'm strong. I can hold that position for days.
Like, why are you shaking?
Why am I like, it was honestly uncontrollable. And it's crazy how it's physically stored in you.
Wow, yeah.
And I now understand why they do it with the military and why they're now going to do it with patients as well. But
did you feel better afterwards? How did you feel?
A bit weird.
Yeah.
Freaked out by my body
like,
for 2 hours. Like honestly having a fit.
Yeah.
But I also read a study the other day, and I can't tell you the exact facts because I didn't write it down, that women need scientifically more sleep than men because we are more sensitive to stress within the body, and obviously lack of sleep causes stress.
Oh my gosh, sleep is huge, isn't it? Yeah.
But that's fascinating that it's 80% women.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And gosh, even with that, and because essentially he highlights that due to like societal factors, women are more prone to chronic stress and trauma, and that links to a lot of the reasons why women hold this stress in them. And whether it's just like people pleasing or just like the fear of letting anyone down, like all of that plays into like women's stress response. And over time, if you're like totally stressed, your immune system becomes weakened. And I think, he highlights it quite well that plays into probably why more women than men like suffer. Yeah.
Do you feel like that's, obviously it's really hard to say, oh, this is what caused this for me, but do you feel like those, whether it's like environmental factors, do you feel like they contribute?
Weirdly, I do think it was like a perfect storm, and it came after I finished. I was at the end of my teacher training, and I was probably the most stressed I've ever been. And it was one of those times where I was thinking, oh my gosh, it could have been a mixture of different things. Like it could be like an environmental factor where you catch like a virus and it triggers your immune response and things. But I do think being the way I am, I'm trying to get better. I think my personality type is definitely an overthinker, and I think creating the brand has really, it's. Do you know what? My whole health journey has given me a different outlook on life. So I definitely think it's, in a way, like helped me. But I don't know, to go back to it, like I definitely think the way I am with being a bit of a perfectionist is like totally played a role in it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Sorry if this is a silly question, a naive question. Obviously it can be triggered by extreme stress, trauma, an event that's gone on in your life. But is it scientifically sort of within your system and then like lights up,
for sure,
some kind of virus that's
like HPV,
HPV virus, and it's suddenly triggered from but you always have it.
That's such a good question, because honestly, the amount of people I speak to, and I feel really lucky because quite a few people reached out to me with an autoimmune condition or lupus, because you end up feeling, I think because of the nature of an autoimmune condition, you feel like, how have I even got to this position? What has caused it? And a lot of the times you can have genes that are passed on that increase your risk of having an autoimmune condition. So if it runs in the family, that's something that might increase your chances.
Right.
And again, it could be like a hormone imbalance. It could be anything from like your gut microbiome being, off kilter. Because I remember reading that 70% of your immune system is controlled by your gut. And, all these things come into play. And it is super complicated. And there's not like one reason for a lot of the time, the diagnosis. So you sat there thinking, so I've got this like condition that I'll have for the rest of my life. There's no pinpoint as to how I got it.
No.
And you're just like, what am I meant to do with this? So you feel a lot lost with it for sure.
And probably quite alone.
Oh my God, so alone.
Before we get into like the symptoms, I'm interested in
for
how
sure.
it affects you. I would like to ask, which is quite a deep question. We're like 5 minutes in.
Deep questions.
Okay, go on.
Honestly, and I'm thinking, I literally
we'll get into it, Jessica. Let's get into it.
Therapy hat on.
When you,
love that.
this is the expert over
think
here.
I need a therapist, so this actually is fair.
I recommend. I just wanted to ask, when you found out, I don't know how old you were, was it recent? Or
So I was 25 at the time.
Okay,
So I'm 29 now.
how did that mentally affect you, and how did you process that? Because you seem so strong and like at peace with it.
Yeah.
If I'm using my personal story,
Yeah.
it took me the best part of probably 20 years to be at peace with something that's lifelong.
Yeah.
How did you process that?
Oh gosh, do you know? And you'll probably relate to this a lot. I felt like when I was first diagnosed, and I know weirdly it was like quite fortunate that I was so poorly, because my diagnosis was really quick. And some people, like on average, I think it's like 7 years to get an autoimmune condition diagnosis. So, which is crazy. But at the time, I actually felt like I was like mourning a life that I lost.
Yeah.
So I felt like a part of me had died, because I thought, like I was super, like I loved sport. I literally had to turn down a dream teaching job because and I went for an interview and I couldn't even bend down to speak to the children. And I remember thinking, like, I don't know, how am I meant to live a normal life? And I thought, and at that time, like, because I was 25, and then the doctor saying you can't go into the sunlight. I thought, I'm wearing long sleeve tops, I'm pale as anything.
No holidays ever again.
And I'm single. And what is it going to look like to have children?
Is a vulnerable age, isn't it? To get diagnosed with something.
I really did think my life was over. And I think with the pain I was in, with the joint pain, and because I was bedbound, and I was just in my room for months, and I remember thinking, like, this is it for me, and gosh, I actually am such an emotional person, so no,
don't worry.
Emotional, sorry, but you do really. It's really hard to see any hope.
Don't worry.
With life, and my mum and my family, just I was just lucky to have them. I don't know what I'd do without them. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Something you mentioned there, which I think is really, really important, is as you say, it's like 25, such a vulnerable age, and such like formative years for what it means to be a woman, to think about your career, children, romance, all of that kind of stuff. And I wonder for you, with kind of a disease like this, what have you kind of learned through that time about how it means to build a life as a woman not beyond that, but with living with it?
Oh no, totally. And I still think with launching the brand, it's something that is like something I'm still learning to do. And even at the moment, like one of the symptoms I get with lupus is I get blisters on my hand, and like I get them when I'm run down, and I've like got them today. And it's just something that, like, every kind of meal I have, or how much rest I get in a week, it all needs to be kind of, it's something that I think about to help manage my kind of symptoms. But it's definitely made me realise, when the good is good in your life, and you probably understand this well, like the good moments, like I really appreciate them. Like if my health is in a good place, like, which even before I got poorly, I wouldn't even think if I had a good day, I'd be like, oh my God, like I feel great, like life is good. But now when I like don't have blisters, and when my hair isn't falling out, I'm in a good place. Honestly, I kind of just think life is great. And and I know that's a bit of a cringy, cheesy answer, but it does make you appreciate the good parts of your life and your relationships, because I suppose they get you through. Like honestly don't know where I'd be without my family and friends. So it's
quite a tough thing, I imagine, for, you know, like your parents or your loved ones to see you go through so much pain. Was there anything that you found really helpful from them that they did, that maybe if someone else is going through this, or like they have a child or something, what's really helpful to be able to support someone?
That's a really good question, to be fair. And I always find, I think it must be so difficult seeing someone go through that. And in a way, it's just being there for them. Like my mum, even on my worst days, you know, like I knew she would be kind of breaking inside, but not show that and be strong to me. But, and also I think as well to like have that hope that it will be better. I think my mum's always good at saying, you know, just like, you know, in a few months from now, you're going to be back, you're going to be doing exercise, you'll find someone someday. And I'm like, I'm in bed, I'm like blisters all over me. I'm gosh,
I'm gone.
Do you know what? It's just having those people that are there for you no matter what. And it's not even particularly what they say, because, you know, when you're looking like you know, you're in your bed, you're not able to move, and then they're able to maybe like make you laugh a bit, or, you know, just to be there. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything, just having the company there. But yeah, God, I'm super grateful for them. And I think, you know, I'm like, that'll always be a big thing for me, my family on this kind of health journey.
Yeah, it's funny because no one really mentions the support networks that we have. And I think I'm all about relationships. I just think like we forget that actually you are you, but actually you're only the sum of the people who surround you, what they say, all of that. And I think what you mentioned there about your mum is so powerful about hope. And I think it's something that no one ever talks about. Like, it's going to be okay. Totally. It might not look the same. You know, just that kind of optimistic outlook. Which, even just from the way you are, you can see it's so embedded into who you are, this kind of like light and positivity. And I'm like,
it's all
I just wish everyone
you know what?
give me a bit.
It's also even more important to have that person like your mum, because doctors can be not so hopeful. As I'm sure you've experienced as well. This isn't me being negative about any you know, healthcare workers or doctors. I think they save lives. They're brilliant. You know how much I love the NHS. But like, their job is to tell you facts. It's not necessary. They don't have the time or space to be empathetic or hopeful or think about like the human side of someone's condition or someone's life. And I've had multiple. In fact, most times I go in for a checkup, someone will tell me something either fatalistic or horrendous. And so it's so important, like, to have your mum being like that is vital, I think. You know, to keep that like fighter alive in you. I think it's the responsibility.
And who's that person been for you, do you feel? Who's been
my parents?
Your parents,
You set me off. Come on.
They're just great.
We need like a moment for a mom.
No, it's
God, they're just the best.
They are the best, and we're all really
super
lucky with our parents, because they step in whenever we need them, and I'm super grateful. But it doesn't have to. Anyone out there suffering, it doesn't have to be your parents. It could be your best friend. Honestly, it could be your sibling. It could be your grandparents. But having that someone who's not necessarily focusing on the facts or the medical, but they're like, you're going to be okay. And
I think that probably gets you through more than anything, isn't it? Like having that bit of hope, even if it's like, gosh, we're talking about parents, but my dad is super Irish and he's very like, you know, just says it how it is. When I was losing a lot of weight, I was super skinny and I just couldn't keep the weight on. I was in so much pain. And he was like, do you know what? Just eat that burger. Just eat another burger. And I looked at him and I was like, do you know, he bless him. Because they don't know what to do then.
No, I was going to say, like, they've got no idea. And I almost had to coach. My mum's Northern. And she says it like it is. She is full on. My dad's more of the like Care Bear. She's brilliant. She's not uncaring. Sorry, that was said in the wrong way. But she'll tell me the facts.
Say there's always one like that, isn't
Yeah,
there?
and I'm like, Mum, sometimes I don't want reality. I want like fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need
sure.
that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need like in 30 years' time, you're going to be on a beach and everything will be fixed. And I don't care if it's real or not. Yeah? It's almost like a visualization.
Yeah,
but and you said so you were 25, and you said you were single. Which rang a lot.
And I was like, I need single my whole life.
And you're still?
No, I'm in a relationship. Shout out James.
Shout out James.
How did that happen? Not. I don't really like. Oh, tell us all the juicy details.
A miracle.
I just
happened that you met someone.
Well, I know like the feeling, and I'm sure we all do, of being in multiple times in my life single and thinking, will someone, this is so, honestly, you've taken me on a deep train.
Let's go there.
How is someone going to accept me?
Oh, for sure.
So were you in that headspace?
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I was like, I felt like I was breaking some like crazy secret news that he'd like fall off his chair about. And I remember saying...
Did you tell him first date?
No. Do you know what? Because it was one of those things that I didn't want it to define me. And, and it doesn't, does it? Because you're more than, that kind of chronic label that you've got with regards to health. And
cheers to you, James.
Yeah, thanks, James. And he's been a huge support, bless. And so I remember chatting to him, and I probably can't speak about it because I'll cry. But when they just hit, they hit like they understand.
Yeah. Sorry, we're really upbeat. When did you meet him?
I met him. So I'd probably, it'd been a year and a half after I'd first had my proper flare up. So I had to cut all my hair off, so it was quite short. But I had this new lease of life, and I was thinking, I'm back. I'm
You're
feeling
sexy.
happy.
She's back.
Oh my God. And my
She's back in the market.
and my sisters are great because they are like, come on, like we'll go out. And I actually have never done so much in my life in that window. And we were just out in Manchester, and I never go out. I'm such a grandma. I literally am like,
home by 9.
Oh my God,
perfect. Yeah.
for sure.
Put your hands up.
Oh my God, I love that line.
We're in the right place.
A cozy night is like the best.
Yeah.
And then I just wasn't in my cozy era then. And we met kind of just in Albert Schloss. Big up Albert Schloss.
I don't know what that is, but it's funny.
No, it's not. It's just like a bar in Manchester. And he's just been my best friend since.
You're killing me. That's so sweet.
Aww.
And how so all right, so your life was hit hard at 25.
Yes.
And now do you feel like you're in a place where you're on top?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I do feel like it's actually it's kind of changed my life, and sometimes for the better, because I wouldn't be, working on the brand and hopefully helping people with that. Wouldn't be in the relationship I'm in. And just, I feel really content. So, yeah.
I'm going to get all like spiritual, and Jessica's going to roll her eyes multiple times at me.
I love that.
I think that these things, no matter what it is, come in threes, or they're here to like throw your life upside down, give you a smack in the face. I think that the universe, then basically also creates a new
live for this kind of talk.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Listen,
don't get me onto the Saturn return, because truly, I only mentioned the moon once on our last trip. Did you appreciate that?
Yeah, thanks.
But
Progress.
sometimes
I feel that the universe will throw you shit to then repay you the strength. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it will give you strength back.
And I think as well, the way that you've used, and this is the thing I always find so inspirational, is you're given so much pain and hurt, and actually how you turn that into something with so much passion and joy. And I find that always so inspirational when you hear these stories where it's like, it's not defeated me, and actually here I'm helping myself but helping so many other people. And I just find that amazing how actually you have the strength to then be like, oh, I'm going to build a brand, and I'm not going to suffer alone. I'm going to help everyone else.
Totally. It's funny because when you're in it, you don't feel like you're doing that. You're just like, do you know what? If this can help that one person who feels really alone and really lost, you know, well, that's something I felt like I needed. So you kind of just do it like that, don't you?
I also feel that it's almost life showing you a purpose.
Yeah.
All three of us have been through that.
Purpose.
You're working in your purpose because you went through something that then gave you purpose. I'm the same. It's like, this is what we're put on this. I'm going to stop being spiritual in a minute. Put on this planet to do. And it's a clear sign, you know?
Totally.
Quick pause before we dive back in. If you're looking to truly support your mind and body every day, then you need to check out the Arbra app. I created Arbra to give you round-the-clock access to expert-led workouts, holistic wellness tools, and real mindset support, all in one place. Whether you're starting out or if you're deep into your wellness journey, Arbra meets you where you're at. Download the app today, and we're giving you a 2-week free trial to start moving, breathing, and living better. Now back to the episode. Right, let's go backwards in terms of symptoms. I'm intrigued in terms of what happened first.
So I had blisters on my hands and feet that were really painful, and they were around for like 8 months. And I remember going to a dermatologist, and they said, yeah, it's just chilblains because you're cold. And I am, like, my hands are always cold, and I was thinking, okay, but it's summer, this doesn't really add up. And then at the time I was
25 degrees.
God, it's like sometimes you like eye roll at what doctors tell you.
Oh my gosh,
like, I know my body. I know something is wrong. Listen to me.
And so that was something that was flagged. Like, this was like, so long ago. And I just, I just kind of went on with it, and just thought, oh, this is just something I kind of have to live with. Don't know really what it is. And then I was coming to the end of my teacher training, and I remember having kind of my final observation, and I couldn't form a sentence, and I was like doing this like class on long division. Like, I still get like PTSD from long division from this, but I remember not being able to say anything, and I didn't know where I was or how to talk, and so I was still getting observed. So I just had some water, and I just couldn't move my tongue very well. And so I was having these moments of real, like, extreme brain fog. And then kind of later on that week, I went to get my hair cut, and I fell asleep getting my hair cut. And I was so ashamed. I was like, woke up in the chair. And then on the way home, I had to pull aside and sleep in the car. And I thought, something's going on here. And on top of that, like the way I was kind of looking, my hair was really thinning. And then the way I am with kind of work and life, I just kind of think, right, I'll make up on sleep like at a later point, it's all good. And so I started then getting extreme joint pain as well, and a lot of weight loss. And this probably all happened, it did go rapidly downhill. And I was driving on the way to my interview for teaching, and I couldn't turn the wheel of my car. And I would just remember before I went in, I sat there and started crying, and I thought, how am I gonna do this lesson when I can't even bend down to talk to the children? And then writing on the whiteboard, my blisters would get in the way. And, I'm sat there thinking, oh God, I'm all for faking it to make it. But I thought, I don't think I'm going to do it. So I just like got through the interview, and it was at my old school. And I was talking to the teacher, and I'll probably get a salve now thinking about it. And it went really well, and I really enjoyed the lesson. And then at the end, she was like, that was, really great. And I was like, oh my God. And she said, and we'd love to offer you the job. And she used to be my old teacher, who's the head teacher now. And I got into the car and drove home. And I thought, I don't think I can do it. So yeah, I just physically couldn't. And then it was probably at the time I thought, that would have been the best thing for me, like in my life, because I could just see how my life was going to go. I was like, I'm going to teach, I'm going to work with the cutest little kids. I'm going to do my sport in the evening, because I was just like a big fan of netball, big fan of sports. And so, yeah. And then I had to kind of make the call and just say, I'm really sorry, I'm just not well enough. And she wouldn't have even known I had lupus, because I didn't really, tell people or anything at that time. But yes, and it was kind of, it went downhill from there. And gradually, over the space of a week or two, I just couldn't get out of bed. Wow, and my blisters then covered my chest, my back, my whole face. And then, my hair, it kind of went from hair thinning to alopecia. Just like I had essentially like 2 bald spots that continued to grow. And then, I thought, what the hell is going to happen to me? So sorry, that was a long-winded answer to the symptoms are like, I think, do you know what? It was just a real slippery slope. And not knowing even, I was thinking, oh God, where do I even begin to get back to where I was with my health? Yeah.
Oh no, you go.
Oh, pretty sure. Is there medication that I've trained a client for 9 years now who's got MS.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And she won't mind me saying this. She's probably going to come on the podcast. She's almost 60 years old and she has MS, and she got diagnosed 12 years ago, so quite late in life to be, I think, diagnosed with MS. And obviously it's an autoimmune disease, but there's obviously medication you can take for MS that doesn't sometimes work. They've just launched intravenous medication that's every 6 months.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this.
So instead of her taking pills every day, it's every 6 months.
Oh, which is life-changing for people. Yeah. And then it's like you go in for maybe half an hour session or an hour and you know.
And that's it for 6 months. And I thought, wow, that's amazing how, obviously science is moving so quickly. So my question to you is there medication that you can take?
Yeah.
And what is, I don't know if you know, in terms of how things are being developed around lupus in particular.
I think it is. No, I like every time kind of an article comes up about lupus, I'm really grateful because people send it to me and they're like, hope you know these updates. And it is really hopeful because there's new trials with, new drugs going on. And I think there is a growing awareness there because it was a relatively kind of an autoimmune condition that there wasn't much research on, to be honest. But there are things, for example, like immunosuppressants, which lots of people rely on, and hydroxychloroquine, for example, is one of them. And that wouldn't, that's, that is a super helpful drug to help reduce your immune system response, which people do have to often rely on, quite a lot and for the rest of their life, but it doesn't have severe side effects.
Oh, does it not?
Really. That drug, you have to kind of check with your eye health, because that's something that crops
the retinus. Yes. And does that drug, is it the same in terms of most immune suppressants, in terms of you've got to be careful not to catch flus, colds, like it makes you
think? Do you know what, there is a lot of chat about it. I don't know whether because that's something that I had always been kind of thinking about and looking into, just with regards to autoimmune conditions, because you don't want to be taking a medication that reduces your immune response, but I think it essentially works in ways that I don't think it does increase your risk of catching things, but I could be wrong with obviously the different types out there. So I'm not kind of...
Well, this is where our hopefulness, all of us, comes in. The science is moving so quickly. They'll be able to print or create anything. And
I think they're even doing, blood transfusions to essentially... it's just looking really helpful, so you won't have to rely on medication.
Love that.
Which hopefully in the near future that becomes
I believe.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously the big thing was there's this side of it, but obviously a huge part of your story is almost being like, I'm going to take control of this through diet and food.
Yeah.
And obviously then you went on to create your brand.
Yeah.
What sparked that for you to be like, I'm going to try this? Or did a doctor tell you it could be like that lifestyle factor?
So it's funny what we were talking before about doctors, how amazing they are. But then at times, you know, you're just hoping for a more holistic view of things. And I remember going to the lupus specialist in Manchester. And they've been really wonderful and supportive. But and the professor, I said to the professor, you know, I'm really scared. I don't want to have to rely on, you know, steroids and drugs. And I said, you know, is there anything I can do with my diet? And he says, well, there is a bit of research there about like the Mediterranean diet and, you know, inflammation, but I wouldn't really, you know, trust any of those things really. And I was sat there thinking, so I have to put my, you know, like everything aside that, you know, with regards to health and diet that I thought was, you know, true. And just thinking now I have to rely on drugs. And I sat there thinking, you know, that I need to do more. I can't accept this. So I think that was probably the moment that I thought, you know, I'm going to put my all into eating in a way to help heal myself. And I kind of felt like, no, I'm going to kind of prove him wrong in a way. So that's what I think that was probably the trigger of it all. And that sent me into kind of research mode. I was looking at ingredients and came across some really amazing ingredients that I thought, how come this is not in a cereal or a different product already? And weirdly at the time, this is probably a bit like we mentioned before, but I tried to start meditating to help with pain management, because I was in so much pain, and I started getting kind of this idea to create something.
I love
that.
I
know that sounds a bit
I love that.
crazy.
Have you read the book?
No, you'd get like a vision.
How Not to Die by Michael Greger.
No, but I've heard a lot about it.
Honestly,
maybe I need to.
Have you read it?
No, I've never heard of it.
Have you not? I told you about it. It's my favourite book.
Oh, really?
So I've highlighted several copies. That's how much I love it. And it's all about, it's just what you were talking about, how foods can be very preventative in terms of diseases, illnesses, stress management. And the reason I started to read it was my grandpa years ago had dementia. And he was old and he was obviously on his way out, as I do. But I was like, I'm so fascinated. What more can be done to do with Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff like that? Anyway, someone recommended me this book. My mum's a nutritionist. I've always been so
amazing.
fascinated.
Yeah.
I read it and it has everything from heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune, cancer. And it goes through why all these ingredients and foods can prevent or slow down, or it's almost like food is medicine, which I totally on board with. What, obviously you've created your brand and it's about to be worldwide.
Yes.
Tell us, the idea behind it is to create something that's inclusive for everyone to consume. What ingredients are special in there? And tell us, you know, the story behind creating it, I guess.
Absolutely. So, gosh, when I was kind of on this research rampage about ingredients, I was looking into, you know, what could I eat to help heal my gut? And so I came across this particular diet called the AIP diet, which, if you've heard of it, stands for autoimmune protocol. And it's essentially quite a strict diet in a way, because you're only focusing on nutrient-dense ingredients, cutting out anything that could essentially cause like your immune system to react. So I was eating whole foods, so, you know, like fruit, fish and meats and fruit and vegetables and healthy fats, and real kind of gut, like healthy bone broth, fermented food. So that was the core of it. And when I was trying to be really focused on it, then I was cutting out anything that potentially could trigger an immune reaction. So in my case, that was kind of cutting out all gluten and grains and dairy and nuts and eggs. So it really was tricky, but I started sticking to it and found that my hair started growing back. My joint pain started it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
And it is surreal to think about now, like what state I was in, because food has played a major part in healing. So I started researching, well, what, an AIP diet is so hard to follow at times, and no foods in the shops follow kind of that diet.
Yeah.
And it is something that's quite known in the US. So they have kind of like AIP products and things like that. And I thought, how have they got things like that and we don't? And with so many people struggling from autoimmune conditions, and not many people knowing how much diet can, have a positive effect on kind of suffering with it and the symptoms, I started thinking, how can I create a food that is kind of AIP friendly, but also no matter what your dietary requirements are, you can enjoy this food? Because essentially, if you can eat an AIP diet, you can literally have any kind of all diets kind of, align with that in terms of, it's not got any allergens or anything.
I think that's really powerful. And we talk a lot about like food being medicine and that kind of thing. But what always comes to mind is the chatter on social media, especially. And there is a woman who I won't name, who basically has said that an AIP has completely solved her like bloating, endometriosis, everything.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And part of me thinks it is such a powerful tool. But I think, as you've talked about, there's also like, there is medicine, there's other things.
Oh, for sure.
And I wonder for you, is there an element of I need to be balanced in that view to share everything?
Totally. And that worries me as well with social media, because, when people suggest a particular diet,
and everyone
no diet fits all. Yeah. So when people are, saying, stick to this, first of all, that's not a forever thing. We're not robots. I don't think the average person can stick to a diet, especially one that's as strict as the AIP is during the elimination phase. Yeah. So, I totally agree with you, because I see it crop up sometimes and on Instagram, and I think there is growing awareness about it helping with endo symptoms and autoimmune symptoms. But I think you just need to have a real holistic view about like diet as well. Cutting out a food group for a kind of a long extended amount of time, I don't think is ever a good thing, in all honesty.
I agree. Yeah. Also, we say at Arva all the time, not one size fits all.
I love that, yeah.
So if someone with a particular condition, let's take diabetes, for instance, and there's information or a trend going around, this will fix, okay, so it could be like intermittent fasting will help with diabetes, whatever it is, or epilepsy. It doesn't suit everyone, and you need to find your own solution to it. And I think that the way that you've created a product that's inclusive for all is really special. Yeah.
And do you know what, even from like with being a school teacher, and I'm seeing such a rise in like allergies, and so some of the children,
worrying, isn't it?
Oh, so worrying.
Yeah. There's lots of chatter about that in terms of our parents not giving their children everything when they're weaning. Not blaming anyone, but is that why? Is it the pollution that we're facing?
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's hard to know, isn't it? And it's hard to be like, I can't imagine like being a parent and not kind of. I feel like on Instagram and social media, like health can be very overwhelming, can't it?
It's
so
and as a new parent, you must be thinking, what's the best for my child, So
different for everyone. So your product is a cereal.
Yes.
And what's it called?
So it's called Super Keane. Brand.
Keane.
Yes.
Where can people find it as of now?
Yes. So we will be. When is this coming out, by the way?
Where are we?
It might be
mid-Feb. This is coming out.
Okay, so we will be in Whole Foods and Selfridges and Planet Organic. So it's honestly, thanks.
What an achievement.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I feel like it's been a long time coming, because been, having worked on it for like 3 years alongside teaching, I'm so ready for it to be out there. Can't wait. Oh my God.
That's so
yeah, I can't wait. And even, whilst teaching, I'd show like the children some of the artwork and they're like, Miss Keane is launching a cereal. Oh my God. I just remember thinking, oh gosh, that's so sweet.
We're doing this in the wrong order because we haven't asked you the last question yet, but we will link your products below and we're doing it in the wrong order.
Right.
And your Instagram and blah, blah, blah.
Thank you.
We always finish. Do you want to ask it today?
No, you go.
Okay. Have you forgotten it? We always ask the same question. Never prep anyone for it. Just whatever comes to mind. It could be really superficial, tiny things. Don't have to overthink it. What's the best thing that's happened to you in the last week? What's the worst thing that's happened to you in the last week? And what did you learn from either?
Oh, I love that. The best and the worst.
Yeah. And they don't have to be dramatic. It could be really like some people will come on here and say the worst thing is that they got rained on their run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I'd say I think, well, do you know what? I had a really lovely evening last night with my mum and we watched Silo. I'm not sure you've heard of it.
Oh,
We are me and my partner. We've only just started recording the 3rd series and we bombed it.
Oh,
like,
but when's the 3rd one out?
well, not for like a year.
I don't think I can do
No,
that.
I don't think I'm gonna have to watch it again. It's so good. Anyone who hasn't watched Silo,
get on it.
What's the...
it's what I wouldn't usually like it. It's sci-fi. Kind of.
Yes, yeah.
It's futuristic. No, everything I don't like. Trust me.
No, you.
Is it like set on a spaceship type?
No,
no.
It's in a silo.
It's almost like a war
underground.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then,
but it is so good.
It's so good. Genuinely.
Okay, I'll report back.
You would love it.
Honestly.
And I'm sad that it's going to take so long for season 3.
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble.
Is that now the worst thing?
Yeah, no, maybe let's literally join that in. But
Silo's going to take so long to come out.
But yeah, that was really lovely because do you know when you just feel like you have a calm evening and watch a good show?
Your mum.
So I'm trying to do that more. I love that. And then probably a bad thing maybe season 3 taking so long.
What did you learn from those things?
Patience is a virtue. Yeah, I think it's nice to. And like last night in general was lovely because I spent time with my nephew and niece and just to actually take the time to be present. And I love that. I think I need to do that more because I'm actually not very good at that. No,
I don't think
at times.
Yeah.
I think I'm always probably thinking ahead, but
Love that.
sorry. I'm not sure that was a very good answer.
No,
but
it was brilliant. So I got Silo in there. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. It's been so nice chatting.
Yeah, learned so much actually.
I did as well. Learned so much, and it was cried twice. So result.
I know. Oh my God.
And we will link all of your links below,
Thank you.
where everyone can find you, and also your product. Please go and buy it. I will be standing outside Whole Foods
In the queue.
if I can find one in Bath.
I'll send you some to Bath.
Please do. And thanks everyone. We will chat to you next week. Bye.